When Earth's children found their lost family, Captain Sarah Chen pressed her palm against the cool metal of the observation deck window, watching the stars blur past as the exploration vessel New Dawn approached the Proxima Centauri system. 6 months they had been traveling, following strange quantum signatures that Earth's deep space monitoring stations had detected. The signals were unlike anything they had ever encountered, displaying patterns that seemed almost familiar yet impossibly advanced. "Captain, we're picking up something extraordinary," called out Dr. Elena Vasquez from her station. The ship's lead xenobiologist had been studying the incoming data for weeks, and her excitement was barely contained. "The signals are definitely artificial, but they are not coming from the planet. There's a massive structure in orbit around Proxima Centauri b." Lieutenant Commander James Park, the ship's tactical officer, looked up from his displays with concern. "Captain, whatever that structure is, it's been actively scanning us since we entered the system. The scans are sophisticated, but they don't feel hostile. More like a curious." Sarah moved to the center of the bridge, her experienced crew working around her with practiced efficiency. She had commanded the New Dawn for 3 years, leading humanity's most ambitious deep space exploration missions. But nothing had prepared her for this moment. "Dr. Vasquez, what can you tell me about the structure?" "It's enormous, Captain. At least 50 kilometers in diameter, constructed from materials we don't recognize. But here's the really strange part." Elena paused, double-checking her readings. "The quantum signatures we've been following are coming directly from that station, and they match human brainwave patterns." The bridge fell silent. Communications Officer Lisa Torres broke the quiet. "Captain, I'm receiving a transmission from the structure. It's in English, but the accent is unlike anything I've heard before." "Put it through," Sarah ordered. A male voice filled the bridge, speaking with an accent that seemed to blend elements from across Earth's cultures. "Welcome, children of the lost world. I am Marcus Vale, guardian of Station Remembrance. We have been waiting so long for you to find your way home." Sarah exchanged glances with her crew before responding. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth Vessel New Dawn." "Did you say lost world? What do you mean?" There was a pause before Marcus replied. "Captain Chen, what I have to tell you will change everything you believe about humanity's place in the universe. May I request permission to come aboard your vessel? Some truths are better shared in person." After a brief consultation with her senior staff, Sarah agreed. Within hours, a small craft launched from the massive station and docked with the New Dawn. The airlock cycled, and Marcus Vale stepped onto the ship. He was unmistakably human, tall and lean with features that seemed to represent a blend of Earth's ethnic groups. His clothing was made from materials that shimmered with an inner light, clearly advanced technology. "Thank you for agreeing to meet," Marcus said, his eyes scanning the faces of the crew with an expression of wonder. "You look just like the old records said you would. Like us, but younger somehow. Less worn by the centuries of hiding." Dr. Vasquez stepped forward. "Marcus, you mentioned Earth being a lost world. What did you mean?" Marcus gestured toward the ship's conference room. "What I'm about to tell you will be difficult to accept. Your world, Earth, is not humanity's birthplace. You are the descendants of escaped prisoners who crashed on a primitive world and forgot their origins over thousands of years." The crew filed into the conference room, their minds reeling. Sarah took her seat at the head of the table. "Explain." Marcus activated a device that projected holographic images into the air above the table. The images showed vast fleets of ships, alien beings with elongated faces and 6 arms, and humans in chains. 60,000 years ago, humanity was scattered across this galaxy by a species called the Dominion. We were taken from our original homeworld and bred as slaves for their empire. The holograms shifted, showing human colonies on hundreds of different worlds. Humans possess unique neural patterns that make us incredibly valuable as living computers and psychic amplifiers. The Dominion discovered that human consciousness could interface with their technology in ways no other species could match. We became their most prized possessions. Elena leaned forward, studying the images. "But how did humans end up on Earth? A transport ship carrying human prisoners suffered a critical failure near your solar system. The survivors managed to crash land on Earth, but they lost all their advanced technology and knowledge in the crash. Over thousands of years, they rebuilt civilization from nothing, completely forgetting their true origins. James Park frowned. If this is true, where are the rest of humanity? You mentioned other worlds. Marcus's expression grew dark. Still. Enslaved. Millions of humans across the galaxy, living their entire lives in bondage, believing they are nothing more than the Dominion's property. But that's not the worst part. What's the worst part? Sarah asked, though she wasn't sure she wanted to know. The Dominion has been monitoring Earth for centuries. They know about your technological development, your population growth. They are planning what they call a reclamation wave. In less than 2 years, they intend to return to Earth and reclaim what they consider their escaped property. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Torres was the first to speak. How many of them are there? The Dominion commands thousands of worlds and fleets numbering in the millions of ships. But they have a weakness. Marcus smiled grimly. They've grown complacent over the millennia. They expect their slaves to remain broken and submissive. They have no idea what free humans are capable of. Dr. Vasquez asked, "How do you know all this? How did you escape?" "We didn't escape," Marcus replied. "We are still technically slaves, but we've been living a lie for over 3,000 years. Station Remembrance is officially a research facility studying human psychology for the Dominion. In reality, it's the center of a resistance network that spans the entire galaxy." He activated another hologram showing a complex network of communication channels and hidden bases. "We've been preparing for this day for centuries. Building weapons, gathering intelligence, waiting for Earth to develop enough technology to join the fight." Sarah stood and walked to the viewport, staring out at the massive station. "What kind of numbers are we talking about? How many resistance fighters?" "Conservative estimates put us at over 50 million humans across 800 worlds. But most of them don't even know they're part of the resistance. The Dominion's mind control technology keeps them docile, but we've learned to work around it." "Mind control?" James asked. Marcus nodded. "Neural implants that suppress creativity, aggression, and independent thought. But the implants have a flaw. They can't completely suppress human ingenuity. Over generations, we've learned to think around them, to hide our true thoughts and feelings while appearing to be obedient slaves." Elena was furiously taking notes. "This is incredible. The implications for neuroscience alone are staggering." "There's more," Marcus continued. "The Dominion's technology is powerful, but it's based on rigid thinking patterns. Human consciousness is chaotic and unpredictable. When humans interface with their systems, we can do things they never intended. That's why they value us so highly. But it's also why they fear us." Sarah turned back to the group. "You said you've been preparing. What kind of weapons are we talking about?" Marcus's smile became predatory. "The Dominion makes a critical error. They assume that because we are slaves, we don't understand their technology. But we've been studying it for 60,000 years. We know their ships better than they do. We know their weapons, their tactics, their weaknesses." He activated another hologram showing sleek spacecraft hidden in asteroid fields and abandoned mining facilities. "We've been building our own fleet using stolen Dominion technology combined with innovations they could never imagine. Human creativity applied to their advanced science has produced weapons that will surprise them. But can we win?" Torres asked. "Even with superior technology, they outnumber us massively." "Numbers don't matter if you can't use them effectively," Marcus replied. "The Dominion's strategy has remained unchanged for millennia because it's always worked. They arrive with overwhelming force, demand surrender, and enslaved populations submit. They have no experience fighting an enemy that refuses to give up." Dr. Vasquez looked up from her notes. "What about the humans who are still under mind control? Will they fight against us?" Marcus's expression softened. "That's where Earth comes in. Your people have developed something we thought was lost forever. Pure human consciousness, untainted by Dominion control. When Earth humans interact with the enslaved populations, something amazing happens. The mind control begins to break down. How is that possible? Sarah asked. Freedom is contagious, Marcus explained. Human neural patterns are designed to resonate with each other. When controlled humans encounter free humans, their suppressed memories and emotions start to surface. It's like waking up from a dream. James leaned back in his chair. So you're saying that just by existing, Earth humans can free the enslaved populations? Exactly. But it requires direct contact or proximity. That's why the Resistance has been so careful to avoid detection. If the Dominion realized what was happening, they would accelerate their timeline and attack Earth immediately. Sarah felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. What do you need from us? Marcus stood and walked to the viewport, gazing out at his ancient station. Return to Earth. Tell your people the truth. Prepare them for what's coming. But more importantly, prepare them for what they are capable of becoming. And what's that? Elena asked. Marcus turned back to face them, his eyes bright with hope and determination. The force that will free every human in the galaxy. Earth isn't just a lost colony, Captain Chen. It's the key to humanity's liberation. As the meeting concluded and Marcus prepared to return to his station, he handed Sarah a small device. This contains detailed information about Dominion technology and the Resistance network. But it also contains something more important. The location of every human settlement in the galaxy. Sarah held the device, feeling its weight. There are so many. Billions of humans, Captain. All waiting for the day when they can return home. Not to a specific world, but to the idea of home. To freedom. The New Dawn prepared to depart the Proxima Centauri system, carrying with it the most important cargo in human history, the truth about humanity's origins and destiny. As the ship engaged its faster-than-light drives, Sarah stood on the bridge, watching Station Remembrance disappear into the distance. Captain, Torres said quietly, how do we even begin to tell Earth about this? Sarah smiled grimly. We start by remembering that humans have always been at their best when facing impossible odds. The Dominion is about to learn that the hardest species to keep enslaved is the one that refuses to believe it's beaten. The New Dawn raced toward Earth, carrying the spark that would ignite the greatest human uprising in galactic history. Behind them, Marcus Vale watched from his station, sending encrypted messages across the galaxy to Resistance cells that had waited centuries for this moment. The reclamation wave was coming, but Earth would be ready. And for the first time in 60,000 years, the Dominion would face humans who remembered how to fight. The day humanity remembered how to fight 6 months after the New Dawn's return to Earth, the planet had transformed beyond recognition. In the hidden chambers beneath the United Nations building in New York, Secretary General Maria Santos stared at the holographic displays showing humanity's greatest mobilization in history. Every nation on Earth had set aside their differences to face the threat that Captain Sarah Chen had brought home. Status report, Maria commanded as she entered the Global Defense Command Center. General Raymond Cooper, newly appointed head of the Terran Defense Force, stood before a massive tactical display. We have construction facilities online in 47 countries. The first wave of defense ships will be ready in 6 months, just as the Dominion scouts are expected to arrive. Dr. Elena Vasquez, now head of the Xenotechnology Division, looked up from her workstation. The technology integration is proceeding faster than anticipated. The device Marcus gave us has unlocked manufacturing processes that Earth's industries are adapting remarkably well. It's as if our technology was always meant to evolve in this direction. Captain Chen approached the central display, her new uniform bearing the insignia of the Terran Space Command. Any word from the Resistance Network? Communications Director Amanda Hayes nodded. We've established quantum communication links with Resistance cells on over 300 worlds. The response has been overwhelming. They are coordinating simultaneous uprisings to coincide with the Dominion's arrival at Earth. The quantum communications system hummed to life, and Marcus Vale's voice filled the command center. Earth Command, this is Station Remembrance. We have critical intelligence updates. Go ahead, Marcus, Sarah replied. The Dominion has accelerated their timeline. Their advanced scouts will arrive in your system in 72 hours, not 6 months as originally planned. They've detected unusual energy signatures from Earth and suspect something has changed. General Cooper cursed under his breath. We're not ready. We need more time. Time is a luxury we don't have, Marcus replied. But Earth has advantages the Dominion cannot comprehend. Dr. Vasquez, have you completed the consciousness amplification project? Elena nodded. The neural interface networks are operational. Every volunteer who's undergone the procedure can now communicate directly with Dominion technology. We have over 10,000 operators ready. Excellent. These operators will be crucial. When Dominion ships arrive, their own systems will become weapons against them. Maria Santos stepped forward. Marcus, what exactly are we facing? Give me numbers. The initial force will be approximately 500 ships, led by a Dominion overseer called Thane Mordicus. This is meant to be a simple reclamation mission. They expect to arrive, demonstrate their power, and have Earth's population surrender immediately. How many people do they plan to take? Amanda asked. Marcus paused before answering. All of them. The Dominion's plan is to relocate Earth's entire population to labor worlds throughout their empire. They consider Earth too valuable to leave inhabited by free humans. The command center fell silent. General Cooper was the first to speak. Then we make our stand here. If we are going to fight, we do it for our home. That's the human spirit the Dominion doesn't understand, Marcus said. In their experience, species surrender when faced with overwhelming force. They've never encountered a species that fights harder when cornered. Sarah moved to the tactical display. What about the Resistance fleet? Are they ready? More than ready, Marcus replied. We have ships positioned in 37 systems along the Dominion's approach route. When they commit to the attack on Earth, they'll find themselves surrounded by an enemy they thought was extinct. Dr. Vasquez activated a holographic representation of the solar system. The defense grid is as complete as we can make it in the time available. Orbital weapons platforms, asteroid-based missile batteries, and the new fusion-powered defense stations are all online. What about the mind control threat? Maria asked. That's where Earth's unique advantage comes into play, Marcus explained. The neural interface operators can not only resist Dominion mind control, they can reverse it. When the enslaved crew members of Dominion ships encounter Earth's consciousness frequencies, their mental shackles will begin to break. General Cooper studied the tactical projections. It's still going to be a hell of a fight. 500 ships against our 50. Numbers don't tell the whole story, Sarah said. Our ships are built with human ingenuity and Dominion technology. Each one is worth 10 of theirs. The next 72 hours passed in a blur of final preparations. Across Earth, families said their goodbyes as volunteers reported to defense stations. The planet's entire population had been briefed on the threat, and rather than panic, humanity had responded with determined unity. On the lunar base, Commander Patricia Williams watched her fighter squadrons complete their final training exercises. Remember, she told her pilots, the Dominion has been fighting the same way for 60,000 years. They expect their enemies to follow predictable patterns. We are going to show them what happens when humans stop playing by the rules. The moment arrived at 14:30 Greenwich Mean Time on a Tuesday that would forever change galactic history. Deep space sensors detected the characteristic energy signatures of Dominion ships dropping out of hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. Here they come, General Cooper announced. 512 vessels, just as predicted. The Dominion fleet approached Earth with the confidence of predators who had never known defeat. Their ships were massive, elegant constructs designed to inspire awe and terror. The lead vessel, a kilometer-long command ship, broadcast a message that was received by every communication device on Earth. Primitive humans of the lost colony, the message began, spoken in a voice that resonated with mechanical authority. I am Thane Mordicus of the Dominion Reclamation Force. Your species belongs to the Dominion, and your freedom is an aberration that ends today. Surrender immediately, and your enslavement will be merciful. Resist, and you will be broken. Secretary General Santos personally responded to the message. This is Secretary General Maria Santos of Earth. Your message has been received and rejected. Humanity will never surrender to slavery. If you want our world, you'll have to take it. The silence that followed stretched for nearly a minute. Then Thane Mordecus's voice returned, filled with what sounded like confusion. You cannot be serious. We are 500 ships strong. You have no fleet capable of opposing us. You're right, Sarah Chen's voice cut across the communication channel. We don't have a fleet capable of opposing you. We have something better. At that moment, Earth's defense grid activated. What the Dominion had interpreted as a primitive planetary defense system revealed itself as something far more sophisticated. The orbital platforms weren't just weapon systems, they were consciousness amplifiers powered by human neural networks. 10,000 human operators, their minds linked through quantum-entangled neural interfaces, reached out across space and touched the Dominion fleet. The effect was immediate and devastating. Enslaved humans aboard the Dominion ships suddenly found their suppressed memories and emotions flooding back. The mental conditioning that had kept them docile for generations began to crack and crumble. What's happening? Thane Mordecus demanded as his own crew began to behave erratically. You're experiencing freedom, Sarah replied. You're enslaved. Human crews are remembering who they really are. Aboard the Dominion ships, chaos erupted. Human slaves who had spent their entire lives in mental bondage suddenly found themselves capable of independent thought. They turned on their alien overseers, using their intimate knowledge of Dominion technology to sabotage ships from within. Impossible, Thane Mordecus snarled. The conditioning cannot be broken. You never understood humans, Marcus Vales. Voice joined the conversation as Station Remembrance and the Hidden Resistance fleet emerged from hyperspace behind the Dominion force. You thought you could control us, but you only suppressed us. And suppressed humans don't stay suppressed forever. The battle that followed was unlike anything in recorded galactic history. Earth's defense fleet, though outnumbered 10-1, fought with a ferocity and unpredictability that the Dominion had never encountered. Human pilots executed maneuvers that seemed impossible, using their ship's advanced consciousness interface systems to make split-second decisions that confounded enemy targeting computers. But the real battle was being fought in the minds of the enslaved humans throughout the Dominion fleet. As Earth's consciousness amplifiers continued to broadcast freedom signals, more and more ship crews revolted against their alien masters. Entire vessels switched sides mid-battle, turning their weapons against their former controllers. Commander Williams led her fighter squadrons in a daring attack on the Dominion command ship. This is for every human who died in chains, she transmitted as her pilots engaged the enemy escorts. The tide of battle turned when the largest Dominion battleship, the Eternal Dominance, suddenly stopped firing on Earth's forces. The voice that came from the ship was unmistakably human, but speaking with the accent of someone who had been enslaved for generations. This is Captain David Chen, great-grandson of colonists taken from Earth 300 years ago. The Eternal Dominance is now under human control. We are coming home. Across the fleet, similar declarations echoed. The Dominion's greatest strength, their enslaved human crews, had become their greatest weakness. Thane Mordecus found himself commanding a fleet where half the ships had turned against him. This is not possible, he broadcast desperately. You are slaves. You cannot resist the Dominion. We were never slaves, came the reply from 1,000 human voices across the fleet. We were prisoners. And now we are free. The battle ended not with the destruction of the Dominion fleet, but with its liberation. Of the 512 ships that had arrived to enslave Earth, 387 switched sides when their human crews broke free of mental conditioning. The remaining ships, crewed primarily by alien species loyal to the Dominion, found themselves hopelessly outnumbered and surrendered. Thane Mordecus, the proud Dominion overseer, was taken prisoner by the very humans he had come to enslave. As he was led away in restraints, Sarah Chen approached him. You want to know what you got wrong, she asked. You thought enslaving humans would make us weak. But all you did was spread us throughout the galaxy and teach us to hate you. Every human you enslaved became a potential ally waiting to be awakened. The aftermath of the battle saw the beginning of humanity's true galactic age. With the Resistance network now operating openly and the captured Dominion technology at their disposal, Earth became the center of a liberation movement that spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Within months, human uprisings erupted on hundreds of worlds. The Dominion, which had ruled the galaxy for millennia through fear and oppression, found itself facing an enemy that grew stronger with every victory. Each liberated world became a beacon of hope that inspired other enslaved populations to revolt. Dr. Vasquez, now studying the full scope of human distribution across the galaxy, made a remarkable discovery. The Dominion's practice of spreading humans throughout their empire was meant to prevent us from organizing. Instead, they created the largest resistance network in galactic history. A year after the battle for Earth, Secretary-General Santos stood before the newly formed Galactic Human Alliance. Representatives from over 800 liberated worlds had gathered to forge a new future for humanity. "We have learned the truth about our origins," she declared. "We are not the children of one world, but of an entire galaxy. The Dominion tried to break us, but they only made us stronger. They scattered us across the stars, but they gave us the galaxy as our inheritance." Marcus Vale, now serving as the first ambassador of the Resistance worlds, addressed the assembly. "For 60,000 years, humanity has endured. We have survived slavery, oppression, and the loss of our identity. But we never lost the one thing that makes us human, the refusal to accept defeat." The Galactic Human Alliance became the dominant power in the galaxy within a decade. The Dominion, stripped of their human slave labor and facing constant uprisings, collapsed into a shadow of their former empire. Some alien species that had supported the Dominion were offered amnesty in exchange for cooperation. Others, who had been enslaved alongside humans, were liberated and welcomed as allies. But perhaps the most remarkable change was in humanity itself. The reunion of Earth humans with their galactic family created a renaissance of human culture and technology. Earth's untainted creativity combined with the practical experience of the Resistance fighters produced innovations that transformed civilization. Captain Sarah Chen, now Admiral of the Terran Space Command, often reflected on the irony of the situation. The Dominion's greatest fear had been that free humans would eventually turn against them. By trying to prevent that outcome through slavery, they had guaranteed it. Standing on the observation deck of the flagship New Earth, Sarah watched as construction crews built humanity's first interstellar city in the space between Sol and Proxima Centauri. The city would serve as the capital of the Galactic Human Alliance, a symbol of unity for a species that had been scattered across the stars. "The Dominion was right about one thing," she said to Marcus, who had joined her at the viewport. "Humans are special." "But they were wrong about why." "What makes us special?" Marcus asked. Sarah smiled as she watched human engineers working alongside liberated aliens to build their shared future. "We don't stay down. No matter how many times you knock us down, no matter how hopeless things seem, humans always get back up. And we never, ever give up on each other." The galaxy had learned a fundamental truth: you cannot enslave a species whose greatest strength is their refusal to accept enslavement. Humanity had not just won their freedom, they had awakened something that had been sleeping in the galactic consciousness for millennia, the idea that freedom was not a privilege to be granted, but a right to be claimed. The Dominion had hidden their dark secret for 60,000 years, but humanity had found it. And in finding it, they had found themselves.